And welcome into the 617 podcast, the voice of the Boston fans by the Boston fans. We got most of the crew here tonight for this show. Right, Sean Buchanan's here, Joe Malkin's here as well, Mike's here as well. We are brought to you by the Crowworthy Network, and we have avoided for the last couple of weeks talking about our New England Patriots because we have other teams to talk about here in Boston. We have the Red Sox and their terrible offseason. I'm sure that will continue for months to come for when we get to spring training in March. Celtics are having a bit of a slide right now. Just lost to Orlando. Bruins are great. That's fantastic. We'll talk about them in the coming weeks as well. But we're going to dip back to a topic that we have been avoiding for the last couple of weeks. We're going to dive into we're going to go back to the Patriots. And we assumed that things were starting to get up there, going again after the Monday Night Football win over the Arizona Cardinals. In what was supposed to be Sunday Night Football, which turned into not even afternoon football, the 4:05 start time between the Las Vegas Raiders and the New England Patriots, which basically means the NFL doesn't care when that game starts. They don't care for the TV schedules. It's like, go ahead, you can play your thing. Another disastrous game by the Patriots, of course, capped off by the what our Twitter followers and the 617 Twitter followers have deemed the most embarrassing play in the history of the NFL. I put a poll out there recently between the butt fumble, the Indianapolis Colts fake punt, and this play. And by a wide margin, more than half, they voted that this play by Jakobi Meyers, the lateral, was the worst play in the history of the NFL. Recency bias, probably. But Patriots lose to the Raiders 30-24. They are now 7-7. As we head into week 16 of the NFL season, Patriots face the Cincinnati Bengals on Saturday afternoon, Christmas Eve. Michael, I understand you've prepared a statement.
I have. Thank you for yielding the floor. Let me just preface this by saying that I know this will make me sound like a spoiled, young Patriots fan. And you're right. But sorry, I wasn't born earlier and I can't fucking control that. So I can only judge and critique things that I've actually lived through and seen. In the last 20 years, the Patriots went from a team that no fan base, aside from the Giants, could criticize, to now a team that is mocked by all fans, and especially fans of a team that were a dynasty when Kmart was a thing and the Clinton administration was thriving. All because of one man, and that is Bill Belichick. The man that quote unquote puts his team before everything else is now leading a team where the players clearly don't trust the coaches. And after that embarrassing display on Sunday, the coaches are losing faith in the players. So I'm going to open this up by saying it is time to do the thing that we often discuss, but pretty quickly shoot down. And it's either reduce Bill's power or move on from him completely. Because what we saw on Sunday, to your point, Craig, we are used to being the team that does that to other teams. And we did it. Tied 34-34 or 27-27. I wish it was 34-34. And that happened. That fucking happened. And I can only justify it by saying that the team knew and knows that they are not good enough to win in overtime. They do not have the time to go 16 plays for 60 yards and have Nick Folk attempt a 58-yard field goal on the first drive of overtime because maybe they're going to lose. This is hopefully a day and a game of reckoning for the Patriots organization because I know that it was for Patriot fans. Thank you.
When was the last time the running was the focal point of a Patriots offense?
Well, Garrett Blount in 2017.
Yeah, and even then he wasn't the focal point, right? Like I would say that probably Corey Dillon was the last time that a running back was the focal point of a Patriots offense. And that was great. That was Corey Dillon coming towards the end of his career. He is one of the best running backs this team had in the last 20 in the Bill Belichick era. I believe that Ramondre Stevenson could take that crown if he keeps playing the way he's playing. But this play on Sunday made no sense. And, kind of setting the scene, I was sitting down here, basically where I am now, watching the game with my family, and we were doing gingerbread houses, and it was great. It was 24-24. They were getting ready to go to overtime, and they start shuffling upstairs to go to bed. I sat here flabbergasted for 10 minutes just watching that. My father texted me OMG. He never texts the letters OMG in that manner. And it was just odd to see that kind of a product come from a New England Patriots team, from a Bill Belichick coach team. And, I ranted to you guys afterwards about Matt Patricia and said, if he called this play, that's absolutely insane. No, what he called was a draw play, which also a bad decision, the wrong decision. Kneel on it and go to overtime. What are you trying to do? What are you doing? I mean, you're going to run up the middle with the ball. He could have, Stevenson could have fumbled the first time that Chandler Jones hit him. They could have picked it up there and ran it back. Everybody's down the field. And then what is Jakobi Meyers doing? Why is that the decision you want to make? And what is Mac Jones going to do 55 yards away from the end zone? What's he going to do? Just sit on the ball, go out of bounds, kneel the ball down, go to overtime. And all I could hear was John Madden's voice ringing in my head from the Super Bowl in 2001, which, he was wrong about, and thank goodness, where he said, just kneel on the ball, go to overtime. You can win it in overtime against the Rams. And the Patriots proceeded to go downfield and get a 48-yard field goal from Adam Vinatieri to win Super Bowl 36. But why has the mantra, the MO of this team changed? And I think we all know the answer, but it's a rhetorical question. But to watch this team and see the play calling, which was bad again. Mac Jones going into the second half was like 8 of 14 for 47 yards or something like that. I don't have the numbers up in front of me. But what are we doing? Because Bill clearly doesn't trust Mac. Mac doesn't trust Matt Patricia. The offense doesn't trust anybody. So I'm with Mike. I mean, it's either time to take away his power or move on from him completely. And Mike, you're right. We're spoiled. But yeah, sorry my parents didn't bang earlier, guys. Like, sorry that this is what we've grown up in. But in the 1990s, who was it that posted on Twitter either Sunday night or Monday? They said, anybody under 40, this is what it used to be in New England. F you, dude. Like, I was 3 years old when I started going to games. I've been around my father. I watched my father cry when they won Super Bowl 36. I know what it means to these fans to have that kind of a run. We are completely entitled, and I hate that word anyway, because nobody's really entitled to anything, but we are completely entitled as fans to look at this product that's been given to us and say, hey, Mike, it's actually kind of like your snowblower. This system worked 5 years ago. This coach, with the offensive coordinator, was the defensive coordinator at the time, but this coach won 6 Super Bowls with this team. And again, there's a common denominator missing. But he won 6 Super Bowls with this team. So where did the discipline go? Where did the tight locker room go? Now we have Trent Brown basically calling people out, whether he's doing it backhandedly or secretively on Twitter, and guys and offensive linemen in the media calling out the team. Where did the discipline go, Bill? Where did it go?
That was to just clarifying that he liked something on Instagram from Bill Parwell, who put up quotes saying the Patriots have to at least call Brady's people to inquire whether he wants to return to New England to finish out his career. They could also pursue Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I've been saying that for the last 3 weeks anyway.
Sure, but you're not a Patriots left tackle.
No, I'm not. No, at the size I am right now, I probably could be. But point being, where did the discipline go, and why is it gone? Why point do we start? We can always, when we talk about these teams and where the problems come from, they always point to for some reason, they always point to the GM first, which, Mike, you and I have been singing that song for years now about Bill and how he's not a good GM. Well, he is the GM. And, when the Detroit Lions were picking wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver and it wasn't working, they fired Matt Millen. Well, come to find out, the ownership group for Detroit isn't very good either. She's a very nice lady, and she's part of the Ford family, but she's not a very good owner. They don't care about winning there. We care about winning here. We want to win. We want to see our teams win because that is what they have done. Do we know as fans of these teams that eventually we're going to slip and slide? Of course. It happened to the Steelers. It happened to the Cowboys. It happened to the 49ers. It happened to the Packers. It's going to happen to the Patriots, and we're watching it happen in front of our eyes. It's time for Bill to go, Mike. I'm going to shut the door on your theory. It's time for him to go. And then people say, well, then who are you going to bring in? Doesn't matter. Start over. Start over and figure it out because that coach is 70 years old. And this is the other thing that people said about Brady. Well, they got rid of Brady, blah, blah, blah. We're also watching the decline of Tom Brady in Tampa Bay in front of our eyes. And a lot of people will rebut me on that. I don't think I'm wrong. And I'm going to stick by that opinion because we're watching it happen in front of our eyes. And we're watching Bill decline in front of our eyes. And we're watching him, for somebody that wants to chase Don Shula and get that wins record, it doesn't really look like it. When you're bringing guys in, like I'm starting to think he didn't just bring in Matt Patricia and Joe Judge because he didn't have to pay him. And I'm just starting to think that he thought it was going to work. And that's mind-boggling to me. At this point, I don't care what Bill did for us in the past. I want a better product on the field, and I don't want to see that shit ever again. Like I saw on Sunday night. That has literally never happened in the history of football. Never ever has that happened, at least in the modern game. It's never happened. That is the most boneheaded play. And you know what? You're right. Ray said it on Facebook the other day. He was calling for Jakobi Meyers to be cut. I still disagree with you, Ray. He shouldn't be cut. He's the best receiver on the team, and he made a boneheaded play. But he made a boneheaded play, and I'm not taking responsibility away from him. He threw that ball. That's all on him, all on Stevenson. They've taken responsibility for that. I commend them for that. Neither one of them deserve to go anywhere. But it all comes back to how much they distrust the coaching staff. They were trying to make something happen. And, Mike, I think you're right. I don't think they knew the game was tied.
I'm waiting for Ray.
Okay. I've been waiting for this moment since Sunday night, and I was livid Sunday night. I was livid last night, and damn it, I'm still livid tonight. The play, no matter how much I've seen it, no matter how much it's been dissected, broken down, cut apart, whatever word you want to use, it still makes no fucking sense at all. It just doesn't. So I don't care that he's the best receiver on the team, Joe. I don't care. If you're the best fucking receiver on the team, you don't make a play like that. If that was Tyquan Thornton doing that, I'm like, you know what? Okay, rookie mistake, whatever. It was still crazy. But your guy has been there for a few years. The guy has been the number one, even though Craig was fighting against that. But I'm like, at this moment, you know what, Craig? You're right. Fuck it. You're right, Craig. Clearly, he was still in concussion protocol. Clearly, he still doesn't have situational awareness in his brain. And yes, part of it needs to go on to Stevenson too. And once again, if you listen to the show, there are no two bigger supporters of Ramondre Stevenson than Mr. Joe Malkin and myself. It's just not. But I'm pissed off at him too. What the fuck are you thinking, Ramondre? What were you thinking? Yeah, yes, you for the fantasy points, yes, you got you up to 172. Great. Lay down. Just like Joe gonna tell his kids every night, lay down. So is this.
Lay down.
Lay down.
Don't come out of your room.
Don't come out of your room. Lay down. Lay down.
Go to sleep. It's like
go to sleep.
What are you
doing? So it's there's so many things to unpack with that. But yes, you've said it already, Craig. You said it in other conversations we've had. It is time for this era to end. And yes, I don't care that we weren't around for Steve Rogan and Andre Tippett and Irvin Frye. I don't care that we weren't around for that. We were here now. We were all kids when they lost to Green Bay. We remember the wild card game. I think they lost to the Dolphins or the Jets or whatever. When the Jets ended up going to the AFC Championship game and lost to Denver. We remember seeing going 5-11. With this same coach. And when you ask when the discipline is gone, Joe, the discipline is when that individual that you won't name is not there, or we did name him, but when he's not there, it becomes when he was at Cleveland, which is a sad form coach. And if those that want to say otherwise, check the fucking records. It's there. Yes, they went 11-5 one year, and he beat his mentor, Bill Parcells, and you never heard it. You never heard of him again until they drafted this kid out of Michigan and became the best fucking quarterback you, your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle has ever seen in their life. So without him, the discipline is not there. Without him, the winning is not there. And it's time to let that man go. And it's time to get rid of the whole fucking roster. I don't care if they blew up the whole roster, let all 53 guys go. And yeah, is that insane? Of course it's insane. But I don't care. I don't care to be rational at this moment.
Well, right.
Anyone from the team to go, except for Doug. I love it. Doug, I love you.
Yeah, Duggar, Uche, Barmore,
Judon.
Yeah, where's he been at? What's that?
Stevenson can stay.
What's Barmore at?
I don't know, but Ray, I couldn't agree with you more. And maybe we need to fight a little bit more. I think you're wrong on Meyers. I think you're right on the fact that he wasn't thinking, but it doesn't just whenever two kids get into a fight, we all say it, we all know it. Right. Nobody ever sees the first punch; they only see the second punch, right? The first punch was Matt Patricia being hired as the offensive coordinator. And that's what he is. Let's call it what it is, Bill. 31 other teams in the league have offensive and defensive coordinators. You're not changing the game by not naming him the position that he is. He's the play caller on offense. We all know it because he stands on the sideline with his stupid pencil in his ear and his stupid white pullover with the stupid key in front of his face.
And he rattles the calls off to Matt with 4 minutes or 4 seconds left to spare on the play clock.
Yep. And then, and here's the other thing. First of all, the headset in the helmet shuts off at 15 seconds, so Mac probably doesn't know what the hell he's calling anyway. But here, this is the other thing that I don't understand. And I listen to the other pundits in Boston, and I read all the other stuff and the tweets and people started getting on Mac for MFing the coaching staff on the field because now he's done it multiple times this year, and he's swearing at the coaching staff. He's yelling at him on the sideline. And people are like, if he would just get in line and stop whining. No, this fucking kid knows what he's doing. His offensive coordinator at Alabama was Steve Sarkisian. His offensive coordinator when he left there, who he taught the offense to, was Bill O'Brien. This kid isn't dumb. He may not be a great quarterback, but he had a really good year last year with a guy that, maybe has some play calling issues, isn't doing very well as a head coach, but sure as hell was a good offensive coordinator here. And a lot of that had to do with the unnamed man from Michigan, originally from Palo Alto, California. But, a lot of the things they did went back and forth. And that's the kind of a guy that Mac needs. And I think right now what they're doing is they're saying, here's a playbook. Here's what we're going to practice. Here's what you're going to run. That's the way it's going to be. And Mac doesn't work that way. And I don't blame him for MF and the coaches. And I'm actually on his side with that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm all for that as well. I think that we haven't seen that in a long time. The difference, though, and the way that I believe he should go about it is you can't let your emotions dictate how you play.
Oh, and he's a very emotional guy. And on the sidelines.
It's okay to be fired up. I mean, how many times did we see Brady call whatever offensive coordinator besides Charlie Weiss was there a fucking moron and go after him? But when he was on the field, he was disciplined. He was strategic. Mac is mad. He should be. He's been slighted. They've thrown away this year. But what you can't do is let that angst roll over and build up into how quickly you call plays, when you get people set, your overall body language on the actual field. It's because, and the one, there's so much to dissect in this game, and I hope that we're going to, but we've always, not always, there have been certain times where we have believed that Bill Belichick could not get the players to do what he needed them to do. 2009, he said it himself in the Football Life documentary, right? That's very well documented. The fact that after such a play in a post-game press conference where everybody with eyes knew that was a mistake made by the players. When asked, Mac Jones said, "You're going to have to talk to Coach Belichick." Bill lost the room. And now
Good.
Max
Good.
saying fuck you to him and everybody else. Go ask Bill.
Beautiful. It's great. And I want to go back to the Jakobi thing real quick, Joe, because like I'm glad.
Can I say something about that real quick for Rick John, since you brought it up? Just to be consistent on my take on Jakobi Meyers, which is years old at this point. On any other on the New England Patriots, he is a wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
He's a possession receiver who gets no yak. Any other team, maybe he's wide receiver 3. But that's just where we are on this team right now.
Yeah, unfortunately. No, but so everyone remembers the Jonas Gray situation, right? Shows up late for a meeting, he gets cut. So this time, shows up late for a meeting. We all been late to work before. Then he gets fired. He cost us the fucking game. Don't tell me he can't get cut. That's all I'm saying. Once again, I know it's extreme, but the man missed the meeting after having a great game in Indianapolis all them years ago. And because he missed the meeting, or so they say, well, maybe there's more to the story, but that's what was reported. They let him go. To me, I'm just like, yo, at least to me, maybe cutting him is extreme. He damn sure was he'd be in Kendrick Bourne category for the next game. You're not gonna be on the field. You're not gonna be on the field.
He may not be on the field on Saturday.
He shouldn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and it pains me because I actually met his family down in Miami when it was Tom Brady's last game in Miami. The family's awesome. The mom, Grip, I met dad, I met Don. Like they're wonderful people.
I guess my question, Ray,
it's wild. It's wild.
My question to you, Ray, would be, how do you keep Jakobi Meyers off the field for costing them a game, but allow Matt Patricia to be on the sidelines when he's cost them 5?
Robert Kraft didn't do something then. At this moment, get the thing. Y'all talking about, oh, well, he wants to fuck the record. I've said this in group chats. I don't care about Don Shula's record. Clearly, he don't either. Because you cannot put this type of product on the field and put this type of coaches out together and say you're looking to get 347. There's no way.
And that was gonna be one of my other points, Mike, is at what point do we change the focus of the finger pointing from Bill Belichick to Robert Kraft? Because Bill Belichick spent $250 million
of Robert Kraft's money
and has gone 17-14 since then. Since he spent that money and brought in all these guys,
mediocre,
and drafted a quarterback 15th overall. If we're gonna put onus on the draft pick, we're gonna do it. But drafted him 15th overall, and then this is the product that we get. This is the coaching staff that we get. Not to mention the special teams coach is a flipping bonehead too. And
right.
With those, and I know you guys don't put a lot, and maybe more Ray, but I know you guys don't put a lot into these weapons and receivers.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter how mismanaged a player is, they're going to look bad. Right. Kendrick Bourne, mismanaged. Jakobi Meyers, mismanaged. Ramondre Stevenson, mismanaged, still having a great year. Mac Jones, mismanaged. Nelson Aguilar, mismanaged. Hunter Henry, mismanaged. I can keep going down the line, but they're all mismanaged, and they're mismanaged because Bill Belichick spent $250 million of Robert Kraft's money, and Robert Kraft is letting it happen.
But I do think that's because, I know we're young, but early on in our viewing days, we were under the assumption that Robert Kraft was the type of guy that would expect a coach to cook you dinner, but not let him buy the groceries. Right? Bill Parcells.
Yep.
So now Belichick, he get free reign. You know what? Rebuild after Brady. Do what you need to do, because these weapons, they are what they are. But there's not one person on this show or that's listening to this show right now that would argue that Brady had these weapons in 2019 as last year here with us.
Super Bowl.
We at least go. I mean, he went with far less before, right? So
the year before,
the weapons are what they are. The problem really is, and again, we can talk more about this game, or this could be like a Patriots lamenting session, whatever you want it to be.
I need it all.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question, and then I'm going to give you some facts, and then I'll just shut up and let whoever else go off on a rant. Do you think this team now, 14 games into the season with 7 wins, looks better on the field than the 7-9 season in 2020 with Cam Newton?
No.
Right? No.
Me neither. Let me hit you with this little factoid. In 2019, the Patriots had 1 delay of game penalty. In 2020, with Cam Newton, who didn't know the offense, didn't know how to throw, whatever you want to throw at him, right? Whatever. 1 delay of game penalty. Last year, Mac's first year, they had 7. They already have 7. They don't know what to do. And last year, with Josh McDaniels calling the plays, you can throw that all on Mac. It's his rookie year, whatever. Now we're in a situation where they changed the offense. The guy that's calling the offense doesn't know how to call fucking offense. The guy that's receiving the calls from the offense doesn't know what the guy that doesn't know how to call the offense fucking said. And they don't know how to get the playoff. This is a dereliction of duty by Bill Belichick. And the reason why we should hold Robert Kraft accountable, I think we do a little bit. We don't do it as much as we should. But the reason that we don't is because in June of 2022, Bill Belichick says, if this goes sideways, it all falls on me. Well, and Bill, it went fucking sideways. Sorry, Craig.
It's okay.
It went south.
In 2020, the New England Patriots ranked 23rd in total offense in the NFL. Mac Jones' first year, last year, 2021, they ranked 10th. In 2022, also known as this year, they ranked 25th in the NFL
What a joke.
in total offense. But
Joke.
let's look deeper into that. What's changed on the offense from last year to this year?
Competency. Fucking
Matt
competence.
Patricia.
The wide receivers are the same. The offensive line in a whole is pretty much the same. Quarterback's the same. Running backs are the same. What's changed? You already said it. What's changed there?
Matt Patricia.
That's weird.
Yeah, the pencil pusher from the North Idaho State of fucking technology, who's calling the offensive plays.
I just like how every time we do this show and we talk about Matt Patricia, the school that you think he comes from changes. It's
always
hilarious.
every technology.
I
That's true.
Tag whatever. Fuck it. Whatever school he went to. Clearly needs to get the degree back.
Hope he got his money back then.
Yeah, money back, get the degree back. All
And this
What-
brings
what's
up another thing too. Is like Bill Belichick's coaching tree is not good.
No.
It's not good. Like Billy O'Brien fits into that.
Does
good
he?
college guy. Yeah,
He was awful on the Texans.
No, he wasn't. He went.
Well,
he went
they went to the playoff. No, they was
He won
over there.
4 divisional titles with Houston. And by the way, Deshaun Watson was only there for 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't he? Did he win one year with not Hoyer? Hoyer wasn't there when he was there. No,
Yep. Yes, he was.
Might have been Matt Schaub.
Hoyer and Ryan
Matt Schaub.
Fitzpatrick.
Ryan
Hoyer and-
Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
That's right.
that's got you. Yeah. So yeah. I know that's one of your guys.
So then it went
Yeah, but it's
sideways.
like,
But
come
then we
on.
found out after he left that it went sideways because of Cal McNair. Now, granted, he never should have traded away.
DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah.
And he never should have. He started that issue within the locker room. But Cal McNair didn't make it any better for himself. So no, Bill O'Brien works, and Mike Vrabel is not part of his coaching tree.
No.
Mike Vrabel just played for him. He never coached with him. But other than that, I mean, all these guys are either now talking about football or on his staff still.
Two of the most rotten of apples to fall from his coaching tree, and the coaching for the Patriots right now. I mean, it is absolutely absurd. Now, there are ways for them to fix this next season without doing the most catastrophic thing, which I believe would be removing Bill, because I do believe that with guardrails, and that's what we've learned over the last 2 to 3 years, is that with guardrails, he is the best. I think he still can do it. Ernie Adams is gone. Matt
So he
Patricia
can bowl a 300 with bumpers, is what you're saying.
Listen, Ernie Adams is gone. Matt Patricia can't coach, but he's a smart football mind. Put him up in the fucking booth. Let him look overhead. Joe Judge is a better special teams coach than whatever asshole we have right now. Right? How many block? Do you know how many block punts there were when Joe Judge was our special teams coordinator? And he was there 3 years ago.
Yeah.
There was one.
One.
So like put him there. Bring it. You know what? He deserves a head coaching job. NFL sucks for not giving him one. Bring back Brian Flores for defense. Bring back Billy O'Brien for offense.
You think Brian Flores wants to
let Flores be the actual head coach?
Sure, whatever. But listen,
perfect.
They're going to leverage Bill to sell tickets until he breaks Shula's record, which now
Mike, I can tell you right now, people and Ray's been to a game this year. I can tell you there's empty seats.
Yes, that Jets game wasn't packed. And it wasn't selling out anymore. Until Marcus Jones, who was one of my favorite young players on the team, until he broke that in the 59th minute, like that shit wasn't rocking like that. The best part was me getting my gloves and getting my tenders in room 333. Shout out to the guy that helped me out with the tenders. He was awesome, man. But it's like, what are we doing? No, man, no. Fuck that. Listen, if you can bring back somebody, like so whether it's Flores or somebody else on the outside, at this moment that just needs to happen. I don't care about the record. Kraft didn't care about that record either.
No,
he spent Kraft. He spent your money, dog. He spent your money, and he's wasting it away.
And there's no way
Kraft. I can't say personally. I'm not taking that. So don't take it, Rob. Do something about it and bring something in that's gonna help this team win on the field next year. Not in 2029.
I do think
in 2035. Sell tickets for a fucking.
I do think though.
Are you kidding me? That's a joke.
Whether it's just my opinion and it can easily be proven to be wrong, or if it's a little bit of a hangover, the record for Bill as a Patriot, I think for Robert and for Bill would help ease 2007 because they're never going to catch him on that.
No.
He's what?
He's not right, Mike. Now you're just pulling stuff.
I'm just saying. Like
they got.
He's gone. He's what though? What would he ease?
You could not catch them for the perfect season, but now you became the winningest head coach with that team
by going 6-11 each year till you break it.
I was just gonna say, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna come back and go 6-11. He needs 20. I think he needs 20 more wins.
23.
So let's say he goes 7-10 for the next 3 years with a mediocre product on the field.
Hey, you got it done. Baby.
With an offensive coordinator from the British Columbia School of Mines and Technology.
Technology, yeah, that's right.
Right. I had to get it there. And that's what you're gonna sell to your fans. You can't. You're not gonna sell tickets that way.
No way.
Listen, I'll still go to the restaurants I'm still gonna go to the games because season ticket.
Right. Facts.
But I'm still going to go to the bars down there, and he's still going to get my money, and that's just the way it's going to go.
Also, but all those seats that were empty when you were there, Joe, they were paid for.
Well, yeah, they're all paid for because StubHub and Ace Ticket and all these other places, they buy a ticket. So right. So they're sold, so it doesn't matter. The Patriots made their money. They don't care. Wipe your hands clean of it. But it just, you can't be a guy that in 1994, when you bought this organization, says to the fans, I was a season ticket holder, I'm a fan first, and then allow what's happening to happen for him to spend $250 million of your money to sign the guys that were supposed to be brought in to be the rebuild, and then draft a quarterback in the first round, and then go 17-14 over your next some odd games, but also have two failed head coaches as your top two offensive coaches, your son as your top defensive coach, and then some slapdick as your special teams coach. This is it's egregious. It's friggin' terrible. I'd rather have Troy Brown calling the offensive plays, who's the wide receivers coach right now. I'd rather have Rod Mayo calling the defense, and the defense is great. But you know who's doing most of the defensive work? Daddy Bill. It's not Steve. It's not baby Steve. It's Daddy Bill calling the plays and making those decisions. And they respond to him, and he put a good. He just off. Oh, it's so frustrating. This is just, it's so stupid to look at this. And we've done this with other teams. And you want to talk about two failed coaches? Okay, hey, Joe Judge, just want to let you know, Brian Daboll took over in New York, and that team is 8-5-1. The first year he took over. 8-5-1 right now. And they're going to go to the playoffs, and he's making Daniel Jones look like an actual NFL quarterback. Saquon Barkley has been healthy all season long. And that defense is flying around, and Daboll's an offensive guy. And then you look in Detroit, meathead Dan Campbell, who nobody gave a fucking chance, has that Lions team a game out of the playoffs. And yet you bring these two dumbasses back to New England and give them jobs like this. Josh McDaniels came back and earned his job back that first season when he came back from St. Louis. He left Denver, he went to St. Louis, and then he came back here, took over, and they picked up him and Tommy picked up right where they left off, like everything was hunky-dory and nothing was bad. But you bring these two dummies back in here and you let them take over your offense when neither one of them have ever called a play on offense in their entire careers. The most experience that Matt Patricia has on the offensive side of the ball was as a Patriots tight ends coach when he first came into the league. Joe Judge is a special teams coach. He barely knows what to tell punters to do. But guess what? He's only had one punt blocked in the time that he was here as a special teams coach. So what the fuck are we doing? What are you doing, Bill? What are you doing, Bobby? Why is I'm so sick and tired of watching Kraft's helicopter come in and take off from the practice field while we're all walking to and from our cars, and he's counting his fucking money while we're sitting here with a 7-7 football team, and they suck. They're bad. They're only 7-7 because of how well the defense is played. A fluke. It's not a fluke. I like Marcus Jones a lot. I'm with Ray. But kind of a fluke punt return. What are the Jets doing punting to him in that situation? So it is kind of fluky, and he runs that back to win that game 10-3. But this team isn't even a 7-7 team. Like when I look at this team, it does not instill any confidence, no fear. Nobody's afraid of us. They weren't before, and now you're telling me we're going to go play against 3 viable playoff teams in the NFL with 3. Well, Zach Taylor's getting there. I do think he's a good NFL head coach. But then you have 2 of the best NFL head coaches right now, and Mike McDaniel and Sean McDermott in Buffalo. And what are we supposed to think? What are we supposed to do? Just sit back and take the bullshit that he gives us in the press conferences? Like we're just supposed to sit here and listen to him? And oh God, you know what? I love Karen and I love Mike Reese and I love all these guys that are in there. I just want somebody one day to just whip it out and throw it on the table and be like, Bill, what the fuck are you doing? Because nobody wants to ask it. And you know what? Bill's a fucking coward. That's where I am right now. He doesn't want to answer the question. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to fix the problem. God, he's a fucking problem. I'm done. Get him out. Bill out.
Yeah. I got 2 words for you, Joe, Mike, and Craig. Ball game. It's going to be ball game for the next 3 weeks. Like, the game, as soon as they step on the field, the game's going to be over.
I'm going to be so sad on Christmas Eve coming back. I'm going to come back to my kids and my wife on Christmas Eve, and I'm just going to be sad. I might buy a Jamar Chase jersey off the side of the
You should. And give me one too. I'm a 3XL. But I'm like, it's like it's out of control. It's out of control. Once again, he's making his return. Joe Burrow's on fucking fire. And then obviously I said once again, Tyreek Hill and Waddle and the rest of the crew, they might put up 50 on us. And
I was gonna say, I almost want these teams to put up like
40. Yes. Like it's just like once again, you had your destiny was in your hands. You go to 8-6, you figure it out. It's like, okay, cool. We maybe have to win one more. Maybe
I gotta win out. At this point.
No. I'm saying if you had they won on Sunday, it wasn't. Everybody has it on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So you go up because once again, what people forget before I let you go back, he got that was a very nice fade route on a 2-point conversion to him. That was a really nice play. That was really nice. I said, wow, that's one of the better throws Matt had all year. One of the better players they had all year. I said, wow, what do you know? What do you know? You just have a Marcus Stevens. That's what killed me. Those are the guys that propelled the final drive, and then they did it right. You lost the game.
I mean, you sound like Max.
This is like, what are you doing?
Just to give you a preview of what could be coming. Don Shula, between the years of he went 12-4 in 1985, right? 14-2 in the Super Bowl in 1984. Cool. He didn't win it, but Dan Marino shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Show notes. But between 1985 and 1992, Dolphins never finished first in the AFC East. they just let him go out there and be the figurehead because of what he had done. That's where we are right now.
What did he do? What did Shula do? What did he do there?
A lot of games over
I mean,
time.
Besides go undefeated. and
17-0.
50 years ago. 50 fucking years ago.
Seven-
I mean, listen.
Wait.
I was down there. So okay, okay. So because he is they got stuff named after him down there. Like they have a restaurant named after him down there. Like
Sure, which
he's
is
all for life. So
understandable.
I get it. The steak is phenomenal too. Right there on South Miami Drive is phenomenal. But anyways, when you go back to back out there, obviously you got Bob Greasy, you got Manny Fernandez, you got Mercury Morris. I forget some other guys that was on that team. But yeah, he lived off that for 24 years. And once again, he only won a third of what Bill won. He only won 2. They went to a third and they got smoked by San Francisco. Because this guy Joe Montana was pretty good on the other side. But yeah, they never sniffed the postseason, or at least a long postseason run. The rest of Don Shula's career, and really Marino's. And then here we forget his final game. They lose 62-7 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like it was just wild. But I don't know, man. I just, to me, I hope that you're wrong, Mike. Because once again, I'm not here for a circus act. Listen. I don't want to see us go, like I said, 6-11, 7-10, 5-12 the next few years. But it's
but that wouldn't even be
ladies and
fine,
gentlemen, your old time wins record, Bill Belichick. And oh God, I hope it's on the
you know what? Those records would be
I hope it's on the
fine.
road.
Those records would be fine, Ray, if the team were entertaining and I could stomach them. I can't stomach them. I can watch bad football. I can watch bad teams and be entertained and still watch a good football game and just see them lose because the other team is good. I mean, this football team has 4 to 5 star potential with the defense that they have, with the special teams that they have, with the personnel on the team. They have 4 to 5 star potential, and they're wasting it. They're wasting money. They're wasting time. They're wasting part of guys' careers. They're putting guys in the doghouse for voicing their opinion and being right. Kendrick Bourne was right. And you go out and you sign this guy from San Francisco when he had an outstanding career going for him. He comes here and you mismanage him and you put him in the doghouse? Come on. This is bogus. It is absolutely bogus what's going on with this organization. And you know what, Ray? Like, I understand naming stuff after people and, like, fine, that's fine. Flutie Pass in Natick. I get it. Like, the dude's a legend in Natick. He's a legend in New England. He's a legend in Canada. I mean, the guy won 3 Grey Cups. I mean, he was an outstanding quarterback. And there's going to be stuff named after Tom Brady, and there's going to be stuff named after Bill Belichick. I mean, they still have a TB12 facility at Patriot Place. So that's all fine and dandy. But I'm with you, man. Like, we can't sit here and rest on the laurels and do what they did in Miami. Like, at some point, the loyalty has to go out of the way. It's so funny because everybody says Bill pushed Tom out, and then there's some people that are just mad at Tom for signing with Tampa and not wanting to come back here. And it's like, nobody owes anybody any loyalty in that business. And apparently that spills over from the ownership and the coaches to the fans.
Why is it
no loyalty?
Why is it fair, and why has it been accepted that Bill will always cut a player a year or 2 early so that he doesn't have to deal with the downfall, but we can't cut him?
Right.
Wait,
Thank you.
How much of this do you think Robert Kraft hears and listens to? Because like when John Henry walked into the studios, was it at 98.5? I think he walked into one day because they were talking about him and they were trashing him, and then he was driving it. And he walked in there and gave them a whole crock of shit because John Henry is a piece of shit.
And he owned the competitor.
He's an asshole. Well, so's the competitor. Excuse me. But how much of this do you think Kraft hears and listens to? And like, do you think he's paying attention to it? Or do you think he really is saying like, oh, Bill's done all this for me. He's helped me build this empire. Like,
go ahead, Ray.
He knows when you've been winning. He knows when you've been losing. he knows if you.
Are you
get
saying that
good.
Robert Kraft is Santa Claus?
He is. He needs to be. He needs to be. I jingle all the way. Do something. We need to win all the way. Because everything on now has been straight L's. He definitely knows what's going on. He definitely knows. He is not out of tune. Well, he is out of touch to an extent now. We see what's going on, but
Jonathan,
I
get
think
me
he's gonna-
another margarita.
yeah, yeah. But it's just like, damn. No, he definitely knows though. Like, I don't think that he's like just out of it, doesn't know what's going on. Like, so the dude goes to every game. He's there at every game. He's in the locker room. Like, he definitely knows the pulse. I feel like once again, and Mike said, I think he mentioned on the show a few weeks ago that the record means a lot to both of them. But I'm like, yo, you're the owner, bro. You are the Don Dada. You are the Godfather. You are the guy. Not a guy. You're the guy. You're the head of the
Jonathan, who
table.
is this musical singer sitting next to me in the booth?
Right, yeah, yeah. You get to hang with Bon Jovi, like great. The main attraction at Gillette should not be Red fucking Robin. Once again,
It's
love
not.
it.
It's probably Scorpion Bars.
No, I know, but I get right,
Not
exactly.
sponsors.
Right, you're not
A lot of
No.
non-sponsors we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Always welcome to be, though.
correct. But it's just like that can't be the main fucking attraction.
Maybe we can get Manscaped to be a sponsor if Gillette will sponsor us.
Yeah, that's Craig at mtpshow.com.
Oh, exactly.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Ray. We all just cut you off.
No, it's funny. No, but seriously though, I just think like to me, he definitely knows what's going on. He knows that they need to improve. I think that's what 2021 was about. I know they have some more cash space going into next year.
Yeah, they
But it can't be this. And I'm sorry, maybe I've been thinking about this too. We see what LA did. We see what some other teams did. I know obviously they were supposed to be in win now mode. Don't tell me you can't add certain players and stretch things out or whatever. Like you could do that. So we see LA do it. We see some other teams do it. Like
And because
Yeah,
they were on the
filled out.
they were on the precipice of winning. They were on the up,
Oh, but
the down.
They was giving crazy money to people, man.
Yeah.
Like they was getting told. I mean, my thing is, don't tell me you can't figure out a way to stretch that cap or give something. Like, and I know it's a salary cap, it's a hard cap thing, whatever. But
It's not.
like,
Not in the
it's like-
NFL.
well,
Cap's
okay,
great.
but I'm like, what is like, what are we doing? Like, don't tell me. Once again, the NFL as a whole, and we know this, is making money hand over fist. Be for fucking real. Like, don't tell me that you can't find a way to add. Like, once again, and we went back and forth about the Odell thing. Like, obviously, he's not healthy, so there was no need to bring him in. I get that, fine. But don't tell me there was other guys on the market that you at least get to get a phone call to. That's what I'm saying. This used to be a place that if it was there, it was like, you know what? I know who was there, so I know that folks listening. Well, that's because you had 12. Yes, but if people keep saying this man's that comes to him by 38 years and still is and hasn't lost his fat balls, we talked about on the show, then a phone call for him to still say, you know what? I can still utilize you here. We can still do X, Y, and Z with you here. If you want to win, you come to death row. If you don't want to be on the videos, whatever, we got you. But no, as opposed to, you know what, man, thanks Bill for the call. Click. Now they going with somebody else, and then it's like, what the fuck is going on? So we need to get back to being a destination and not just a team that everyone's fucking laughing at.
Before Craig wrangles us in, because he's been trying to, I just want to say one thing. Well, the Rams over the last like 4 or 5 years have traded away like 8 or 9 consecutive first round picks. So that's just like 9 picks for them. Those are 36 third round picks for Bill. He ain't parting ways with those. He loves first rounds because he loves turning those into 4 or 5 fifth rounders. Like that's not gonna happen.
Makes me
Yeah.
sick.
And two things on that. Number one,
Sorry,
like
Craig.
I don't want to be what the Rams are because the Rams sold their soul, won a Super Bowl, and now they're not winning. And all you become then is the Red Sox with a bad owner because the Red Sox are doing the same thing. Oh, but we won
Kraft's
you
not a bad owner.
We won you a World Series. Great, you finished last.
4
5
World Series.
in the last 11 years. They have won 2 and finished last in the division 5 times. Unacceptable. Same thing here with the New England Patriots. And one of the biggest problems that Robert Kraft has on his hands now is a generation of fans who have been also coached by the best coach and the best quarterback in the history of the league because we're not all dumb pink hats. There are a lot of them because there was a guy behind me sitting at the last home game where there was 2 penalties on the offense on the same play. And he's like, how does that even happen? You could have 2 penalties on the same play? And, clearly, it's hammered. But it was like, I wanted to turn around and be like, buddy, have you ever watched football before? But for the most part, over the last 25 years, this is a fan base that has become very intelligent with the game of football. And that's going to be the downfall. As much as it was the rise of Bill Belichick, it is going to be the downfall. Because now we're educated and we understand what's going on. And now we're seeing the bullshit that can happen when those things that you taught us over the last 20 years don't happen. So it's time to go.
So I gotta say this one, Craig. I know we gotta go, but this is I want to connect it to if I can, because we for a long time have been called the San Antonio Spurs of the NFL. Greg Popovich had his Tom Brady and Tim Duncan for 19 years. They won 5 titles together, right? Their 2014 was our 2018, right? Gives his last kind of hurrah, great performance. What has Popovich done since Tim Duncan left? Yeah, and he had Kawhi, so it ain't like, oh, it was just you still had Kawhi Leonard. They make the conference finals, and they've been subpar ever since. They're 10-20 right now, but he's holding on because he's won 5. But the game has passed Popovich by. The game has passed Bill by. It's time to walk them to the shed. Luckily, we have one on the show.
Great, Mike. Now Ray's got people killing professional head coaches in the shed.
Hey, just hypothetical headshot. Nothing for real. We want everyone to live, but it's time for them to leave the coaching profession. It's okay to enjoy it. You're probably the 2 greatest coaches in the sport. I know Red won 11, but Popovich is up there. He's top 3 in my opinion. So it's time. So I just think that, to me, those are the 2 examples of like, yo, your way of coaching, your way of relationship building with people. This is not. It's not that NFL. It's not the NBA anymore. It's time. It's time to say, you know what? I've had a great run. Thank you to the players. Thank you to the organization. Thank you to the fans. Without y'all, this was impossible. And right off into the sunset. Like, so Bill, go spend more time with Nike. Pop, go spend more time with your family. Like, just do that, bro. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time to go. They gotta get out of here. It's time to go.
Can I finally talk now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
what I was thinking, what?
Yeah. So the point I want to get to next is the insubordination. And just the obvious fact that these players are not working with this coaching staff at all. And the point that I am going to bring up here, and I think we'll all agree with, is good old Kendrick Bourne. So,
is that a cocaine reference, Craig?
No, I had a sniffle.
Oh, it's like
who is he? Patrick Chung?
Is he high?
So, Patriots get embarrassed by the Buffalo Bills in week 14? Whatever. Week 13, week 14.
The last 5 times, the last 3 times we played them, Craig.
Correct. So Patriots lose 24-10. Kendrick Bourne plays 37% of the snaps. It's been widely reported that Robert Kraft went up to Bill and be like, why is he not playing after this? The following week, the Monday Night Football game against Arizona, Patriots win 27-13. Kendrick Bourne plays 71% of the snaps. Now, the score in that game does not represent what actually happened in that game. As we remember, there was not a lot of positives coming out of that game besides the fact that they won. And that was one of the games where Kendrick Bourne, quite openly in the locker room, questioned what was the fact that he doesn't believe in the play calling. He hasn't believed in it all season, and that stretches back into the offseason. So 71.2 snaps versus the Arizona game. We go to Las Vegas. Mike Reese always points out on Mondays, he always tweets out the snap counts. Anybody want to take a guess what Kendrick Bourne's snap count was on Monday? Or Sunday?
28%.
15%.
16.9.
Oh, I'm the winner.
Barely saw the field. So, I think we all learned that Matt Patricia is quite spiteful if you go against him and what he thinks he actually knows about coaching.
He
But
doesn't fucking know what he's doing.
I know he
He's
does.
a defensive coach. Like you signed Kendrick Bourne, and then he spends a whole season here, and then this joker comes walking in the door and starts telling Kendrick Bourne how this is going to go. Dude, you don't even know how to run an offense.
Or
You don't
defense.
even know what offense they're trying to implement. It's just so stupid. It's stupid. It is asinine that this season has gone the way it's gone. This is one of the most mind-boggling seasons of any professional sports team of all time, and they're still 500.
So I disagree with you, Mike. Go figure. About Matt Patricia not knowing how to coach defense. He consistently puts the best practice squad against the defenses week in, week out. Like he's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Right.
He's phenomenal. So I want you to give him his credit where it's due. He is the best defensive coach in the league because he continuously helps out defenses on a regular basis.
I stand corrected.
Fuck you, Ray.
They
I love you too, Joe.
so
That's what it is. But that's a good point, Craig. Yes, you're right, man. Like it's if you challenge the authority here, they will take it out on you. This is a team for the 20 years old. Not just doesn't matter who's been in there. The only guy that could kind of say what he could say and get away with it really was Tom. And maybe to an extent, Edelman, maybe. I think those were the two that kind of were able to have that soft spot on Bill. Well, I say soft, and I mean after a while, the relationship with Brady.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't soft for those two guys.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. You would think that you would put the pride aside and say, well, you know what, this guy doesn't normally talk like this, so let me just reevaluate and see where I can set him up for success, but set up the rest of the offense for success. But it's really amazing how prideful they become. And once we know the oldest, one of the oldest coaches in history, the pride comes before the fall.
right.
And that's where we are right now. Right. Pride is through the roof. And it's like, well, no, I can still do this, but I can still make a Stephen Neal become an all-pro after being, off the streets. And it's like, yo, this is not 03. And once again, you had the best guy to ever do it at that position with you. So whatever mistakes you were making, we're always blanking it. That's no longer the case. You've now been exposed because you're not back in your Bernie Kosar era. You're back in your Vinny Testaverde era. That's where you are right now. And you basically you were sub 500. And yeah, it's just like, to me, I don't understand how it's gotten this far. And once again, it goes back to what we said about Robert Kraft. It's like, yo, had that sit down. Yo, the pride is kicking in. We got to change something. Once again, we can sell tickets all day. That's great. But at the end of the day, you're judged by what you do on the field. And this will always, and I say in all capital letters, this will always be, what have you done for me lately? So for those that have Mike's train of thought, because he talks about what with John Henry. Oh, what they won 4? Yeah, we won 6. Okay. What did you do for me recently? If you're not competitive, it
Nothing
don't
but
matter.
fail.
Yeah, you got to be competitive, bro. It's not about, once again, it's unrealistic to say you're going to win every year. So I want to put that out there. I want people to hear what we're saying. Yes, myself, the 4 of us have gone on, epic rants this evening. It is not realistic to win a championship every year. However, don't tell me in a major market. Once again, this is not Kansas City. This is not San Antonio. We just talked about. This is not a mid-major area. It's not. I'm sorry.
There.
So don't act like it. Don't act like it.
Okay, so 2 quick things. Just like as a microcosm of what this season has been, all wrapped into one game. The Patriots over the last 3 years, right? So we'll do Brady's last year, Cam Newton's first year, and then or only year, and then Mac's first year. They went from averaging 7.9 yards per attempt for passing with Brady to 6.5 with Cam to 6.3 last year with Mac. In this game, 3.6 yards per pass. What do you do? Like,
great GPA though.
What happens when you throw screens all day?
Yeah,
they actually threw less screens this game than they had the last two.
Yeah.
31 passing attempts for 112 yards.
Joke.
Yeah.
Well,
No, you have Barney Fife running the police station at this
also,
point.
I know that Craig's gonna like wrap us up real quick.
No, we took up plenty of time.
Oh, okay, cool. For those of you listening out there that are like, whoa, this
What? Oh god, I'm sorry.
Why?
That was good.
Why?
That was good.
Why are
Jeremy,
they talking about?
I'm back. That was a good one. I'm sorry.
Why are they talking about that blown call? Because that wasn't why you lost the game.
Right.
It's why you were tied. But the NFL deciding to move you or flex you from Sunday Night Football into the 405 slot, thus, I would say eliminating 6 other camera views from that stadium or for that TV crew. That's not why you lost.
Right.
You lost because tied at 24-24, to correct myself from earlier, on a drop play because, again, your coach doesn't trust your quarterback to throw deep ball.
But he shouldn't have had to. He shouldn't have had
Your
to.
running back-
Don't throw go to overtime.
Your running back runs, gets a nice little gain, and then they decide that they're going to put it in their own fucking hands and try and win the game. They lost it. So, yes, that was a terrible call. He was out. Sure, that ain't why you lost. It just isn't. The fact that it took you, 21 game minutes to manufacture 21 points, that's why you lost. And by the way, 7 of those was from a pick 6.
Yeah, which I mean, that gave them. I mean, we didn't talk about this because we were so mad about what happened with other stuff, but that actually gave them life in that moment. Because I was like, they went up, and I was like, man, like this shit might be over already. Devontae Adams is going to get one at some point. I'm glad that Doug could sniff that out, and that gave them new life. I'm like, okay, cool. Here we go. But I want to talk about Keelan Cole because this is where the obscure Patriots feel like this obscure knowledge that we have, right? He used to be a Jacksonville Jaguar, and when Jacksonville beat us a few years back, Keelan Cole went bananas on us, nuts on us. Like he went crazy on us, and I was like, damn, like I'm sick of seeing this dude at this moment because he doesn't do well. He chooses to have moments, and he had a crazy sideline catch on us then in Jacksonville. And you go back and check the tape, so I'm like, oh my god, like I'm tired of seeing him having these type of moments. And it's like, look, and I want to say this because I've been thinking about this for the last few minutes as we brought that part up. For the Raiders fans that are saying that this is payback for the Tuck rule, like go like are you fucking serious? Like let's listen. You got smoked the next year against by Tampa Bay. Then you bring in an old Javon Walker, you bring in a guy in Jamarcus Russell who can't play. You go through Tom Cable, you go through Hugh Jackson, you go through a whole bunch of other guys that couldn't coach, a bunch of old Raiders, and old Michael Crabtree. The list goes on and on. You give $100 million. I'm exaggerating, but to Nnamdi Asomugha, which I get, it makes sense at the time because he was really good at Philly. But it's just like, what are we? There's a lot of things that your franchise people have done that have put you in the position that you're in. They don't make it seem that because of it just sinking and it changed the franchise forever. You made the Super Bowl the very next fucking year,
right?
Get it done. So what you did all that? What did it bring you? It brought you back to us, and it brought you back to failure. We went 9-7. We didn't even make the playoffs that year. You had a chance. Didn't even have to see us. And Rich Gannon and rest of those boys got smoked. So deal with it. But
also, if
20 years ago, like, come on, stop it.
If the makeup for your transformational demise that occurred in the divisional round in the playoff game 20 years ago was week 15 against the 7-16, what does that say? What does that say about your franchise?
Facts. A joke.
But I don't want to throw too much shit at them because they beat us.
And I'm like, what have they done? Once again, and it's funny how they've been in a lot of controversial games. So see your hands, the immaculate reception, whatever. So I guess they had to be on the right side of one eventually. I guess it just happened to be I guess that. So yeah, hey, John Madden's out working through that door. Jim Plunkett's out working through that door, even though he played for us. He's not walking through that door. Marcus Allen not walking through that door. You know, Fred Biletnikoff not running through that door. Sorry, get over it. Casper not running through that door. Sorry. Yes, y'all still suck.
So honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm done talking about it. I think we've beat it. But what we do need to talk about is this weekend. I think we all know who the Patriots are, and we all know who the Bengals are. So Craig included. I'd like to hear what you guys think about this weekend's game on Christmas Eve. What happens in Foxborough
Oh,
on
go ahead,
December
Craig.
24th?
Go ahead, Craig.
Actually happy you brought this up because I was actually going to go in this direction as well. So I'm going to give credit to Tom Curran on this one. So he put out a poll the other rather today. I was going to too, but I didn't want to steal it. So Tom Curran put out a poll asking for the remaining 3 games, which do you think they'll win? They'll win all 3. They'll win 2. They'll win 1, or they will win any of them. 51.1% said they're going to lose all 3 games coming up. A reminder, that's against the Bengals, Bills, Dolphins. 2 and 3 at home.
Oh my.
Yes.
Yeah, they're losing all 3.
That's I mean, and honestly, like again, this is gonna sound negative because that's.
Oh, by the way, it was 51.1% said they're going to lose everything. So
right. Yeah. So like that's just the world that we're in right now in terms of the Patriots, right? Okay. So the best case scenario for Patriot fans is that we lose all 3 games because you will then force ownership to make a decision. I don't think it's going to be to fire Bill, but I think it's going to be to put those guardrails around him. And the worst case scenario for what we saw this year would be for them to figure out a way to get into the playoffs. Then Bill can say 2 years in a row playoffs. Like, so what I think is going to happen, Craig? I think that they are going to get fucking smacked by the Tiger King and Joe Burrow, the guy that just came back from being down 17 points against the greatest of all time. The guy doesn't even fucking blink, doesn't care because he knows. Do you see our offense putting up 17 points against him? Nope. Do you see our defense creating 17 points off of turnovers? Maybe, but if that happens, he'll probably score 35.
Like, that's so funny because it's so funny that you basically just said like 35-17. My prediction is 41-16 Bengals.
So
great.
I think they're gonna hang 50.
How can that be true if we think that one of the stars of this team or the only bright spot of this team is the defense?
So if you don't think what just happened Sunday like blew their confidence, like what are we talking about? That's just over. It don't matter who's on the field.
It's gonna affect everything.
It's over. They're basically saying fuck y'all to the coaching staff. I don't think they play hard at all these next 2 weeks, and they shouldn't. It's like it's over. You had your shot on Sunday and you blew it. Period. So yeah, Cincinnati want to come in here and score 50. Joe about to be throwing that pigskin all over the yard, and I fully expect them. It might be close early, like it might be 7-7. Oh, what we have a ball game here, and then this shit gets real, and at the half, your Cincinnati Bengals 24, you know, the Patriots 7.
Cincinnati ain't that far away.
As soon as Cincinnati gets that field goal to go up 10-7, the game will be over. I'm telling you right now, the game will be over. As soon as Cincinnati goes up, whatever point they score first, the game will be over. I'm telling you that right now.
Cincinnati ain't that far away. There's going to be a lot of orange and black in Gillette Stadium.
And they say, TJ, who's from Philly?
Yeah, we're on it. I mean, we're on to Cincinnati, right? Great.
Yeah, and in the wrong way.
Cincinnati's about to be on to us like Urban Meyer with a co-ed at one of his fucking bars.
Craig, finish it off.
Going to be bad.
Craig, shut it down.
I could have went. By the way, there was some places I wanted to go with that, but that was path of least cancellation.
Scott Hansen would like to have a word with you.
They can have him.
Can I make one point about Bill before we leave?
No.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna anyway.
What's your point about Bill, Craig?
Yeah, talk to us.
So Mike just brought up the we're on to Cincinnati thing.
Correct.
This shit's not cute anymore. It's not cute when you're not winning. It was cute when you were winning. All this stuff like we gotta figure it out. This didn't happen. Bill's non-answers.
Made a lot of mistakes.
That was cute when you were having franchise. That was cute when you were winning Super Bowls, having winning seasons. When you're you're a 500 team without Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
he's a sub, all right.
They're a 500 team without Tom Brady. That's not flying anymore. It's not cute anymore. Win football games and you can talk like that. Any other team, if this is any other National Football League team, Bill would have been gone after the season. He's not going to. We all know that. But any other team, he would have been gone. The stuff that he does in press conferences now isn't cute. It was cute when Tom Brady was here and they were winning Super Bowls. When they're a 500 team, it's pathetic.
It wasn't cute then, if we're being honest. We just accepted.
Yeah, but you tolerated it because we were winning Super Bowls.
Yeah, they're winning, but it wasn't cute. They're like, it's not cute when people are doing their fucking job. Hey, Karen, how are you? Like, when they're doing their job, and it's just like, oh yeah, bro.
You're just blatantly being an asshole.
It's like, dude, like, just because you're going 14-2, 15-1, whatever it may be, like, you know, like
coward.
The only time I had an issue was that person that asked about the fucking New Year goals. It was like, yo, like, it's not the fucking time. Talk to that man off camera about his New Year goals. Other than that, I was just we good.
To be fair, she wasn't a sports reporter though, but that's not the right place.
Yeah, then hey, stay elsewhere then. You know, I didn't want to say stay in your lane. I know that'd be like, oh my god.
I hope she got paid a lot of money to ask that question because
sure,
she
that's beautiful. I'm you know, that's great. But
she walked straight into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, she lost her mind. Yeah. So and whoever told her to ask that question lost their mind too.
Yeah.
Listen, to me, but yeah, you were spot on, sir. Yeah, like I said, it's not cute now. It really wasn't cute then. Once again, it was tolerated because they were winning at such a high clip, even in the years they didn't win a Super Bowl. Which proves our point we were saying all along. We know you're not going to win every year, right? So the Super Bowls, we went to 8 straight AFC Championship games. 8 straight. 8.
Get him out. I want him gone.
8 straight. That's so. It's just like how do you want us to feel when you're fighting for your life and we once again we are not. I mean, we were a poverty franchise in the past. We were, but that hasn't been the case. And even then, and I say this, I know, Craig, you can close this out. Since you've been leading this, but when Kraft came in, who was the quarterback? Bledsoe, right? Bledsoe came in with him same time.
Well, yeah. Bledsoe was drafted in '93. Robert Kraft.
Right, so, but right before. So okay, fine. They go to the Super Bowl 2 years with him being there, right? Or 3 years. Well, I mean,
96.
So go there in 2 years, right? Bledsoe's a Pro Bowler, ends up getting $100 million deal. So if we're being honest, the last 30 years or close to 30 years, you've had a quarterback that was considered the top guy. So when we say, oh, it's 4 years, we're no different than Green Bay. No different. And we've won more than them. So
right.
You had Brett Favre and then you had Aaron Rodgers. And they only got 2 in 30 years. We got 6. Should have been 7, but it's okay.
And we went to 10.
Should have been 8.
Could have been 8, right. Could have been 9, whatever. How you want to put it, right?
And we went to 10.
Went to 10, right. Went to 10 on the Kraft era. So, of course, you're going to feel a certain way. His whole reign here has been about, if we're not going to get there and win it, we're at least going to be the motherfucker that you run up to. And that's what we've become used to. So, no matter whether it was Bledsoe, whether it was Brady, once again, we weren't relying on Michael Bishop. Once again, that was my guy. I thought he was.
Yeah, no offense to Michael Bishop.
But it's like, come on. It's just like we expect better till we see him better. And once again, all we got is more competitiveness. Once again, you ain't gonna win every year. Just
wrap up your point. Don't slight us for expecting out of you what you've told us to expect the last 22 years.
Facts. Boom, bingo. That's the perfect way to end it right there.
He's a coward. Belichick out.
Yep.
So to end things for this wonderful, positive episode we've done for the last, I don't know, over an hour now.
Go Pats.
Go Pats. Ray, you working on Sunday?
Sunday. Yes,
I'll be Christmas?
There. I'll be there. I'll be there for the Celtics game against the Bucks. We have a chance to have another prove-it game. Obviously, we can talk about them in the weeks to come. Obviously, they have taken a little step back. Obviously, losing back-to-back to Orlando, but yeah, I think that they have a chance to right the ship tomorrow against Indiana, and then Minnesota on Friday, and then Milwaukee on Sunday. So yeah, they got 5 more games on the homestand. So find a way to figure it out, get it done. Of call some fucking timeouts, and yeah, play together.
I asked that question because I will not be here next week. I will be sucking down Mai Tais in the Caribbean,
Nice.
far, far away from the New England Patriots. So I'm looking forward to next week's show, assuming the contingency plans I put in place have worked. You'll hear this show next week as well. Hopefully not, but there is a backup just in case. So probably next time you hear us, the Patriots will be 7-8. The Celtics will hopefully have beaten the Bucks, and the Bruins will continue their dominance that they've done over last night's game. Was great, by the way. If you didn't watch,
Yeah, I was there. Great, yeah, it was
that
awesome.
was a great game. So we'll be looking forward to that talk next week. Let's be real. We'll probably be talking about the Celtics next week, that game versus the Bucks. But I hope you enjoyed this last hour or so of fantastic Patriots talk. For Joe Malkin, for Sean Buchanan, for Michael Marcangelo, I'm Craig D'Alessandro. This has been the 617 Podcast, the voice of the Boston fans, by the Boston fans, brought to you by the Crowworthy Network. And we'll talk to you next week.